Let's talk about
Hell yeah,
Web3. We're here, episode
perfect.
8.
Let's talk about Web3 episode 8. Here we go. So we got me and Ohnahji B here. Easy's out having a blast in New York. I'm sure he'll come back next week and share a lot of cool things about that. But for this week, we got a couple of things to talk about, a couple articles. But we'll start off with a little bit of gratitude, Ohnahji B. What are you grateful for this week?
Man, I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for family. This last week I was on vacation, like Wednesday to Saturday, celebrating my youngest. He just turned 13. I got all teens now, which is crazy. I'm feeling mad old, but I'm just grateful for family, grateful for, just the people that are around you, So, yeah, super grateful for that. What about you?
Yeah, 100%. So on that same line, I'll also say I'm grateful for family. A little bit different, but I spent last week traveling down to my parents' house to drive back up with a U-Haul worth of furniture. So really grateful for the family and community around me. Not only for being able to get this furniture from some family friends, which was huge, but also to have my family, my dad drive up with me to help out with the driving portion of it, but then also moving everything in. They came and visited for the weekend, so it was really nice. Me and my dad did a little ceremony to bless the house as well. Got my girlfriend and her family to kind of come in and see a little bit more of our culture. So that was really exciting. Definitely a big family weekend over here as well. So I'm grateful to be here with you and ready to rock it out for episode 8.
Heck yeah, let's get into it, man. Well,
Okay, okay. So, what are we gonna talk about first? Are we gonna pull up these articles, or is there something like on your mind you're feeling like you want to talk about for this last week or last
um,
couple weeks? I think we missed last
Right.
week.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, I I'm in vacation mode, but just heavily still just watching kind of the charts, watching Bitcoin, of course, seeing some of the world news effects or not effects and bounce back after that. So yeah, I mean, I haven't been like too tapped in with, the socials and things like that. Um, but I know you've been diving in, so we got some articles to pull up, some different things to talk about. Let me know what's on your
But
radar
yeah,
for sure.
let's start with the topic that you re-mentioned after I tagged you in it because I
Yes.
think this is a good place to start. Let me make sure I'm sharing my screen here. Okay, share screen. Discord has recently changed their share screen UI, so it always takes a second. But we got this phenomenal post here that I actually saw on Farcaster initially from Ted. And this is a post from a girl on chain about terminology and how some of this Web3 lingo that we leverage can be changed into words that and non-jargon that people actually understand essentially. So I don't know if there's one or two in here specifically you want to tap in, B, but I think this is phenomenal vernacular to use in this space.
Yeah, absolutely. You sent me that article. I was trying to blow it up. It's a little small on the share here. I don't know how
Can you
to.
click on it and make it bigger?
Let's see. No, it just does that. But
Oh, I see.
yeah,
That's a little annoying.
it's all good. Let's see. Yeah, I don't
Yeah, I
even
wish I
know
could
what the
just share just this tweet. Or you know what I can do?
what you
I
gonna
can do this.
do.
I'll share just the image. And let's see how that looks.
But yeah, to me, it was cool. It was kind of like it was market signals. It was another part of the market cycle where I'm just like, dang, this is deja vu all over again. But it's cool, just to have these different, people, companies, um, founders, leaders, whatever, talking about how we can get more people involved. And I think, um, just breaking down the terminology was one of the things that we did off top in the beginning, because people would like straight up be in my inbox and be like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Like, I love what you're doing. It's super dope, but I have no idea what any of this means. So it's cool to just see this a return to this, right? And it's been a while since we've had people like, actually, we need to go back to the basics, you know. And I think a lot of people will bring those back up because people in their networks, you know, friends, family, whoever, will be bringing it up, like what's going on, like, oh, I'm hearing a little bit more about crypto or bitcoin or whatever again. And then, like, I know you're the person that's in it, tell me a little bit more. So then people are like, oh, there's so much that's happened since the last time people were asking about this, so let's go back and let's like define or associate what people that have no idea what's going on in here might connect with terminology wise. So that, that's where it took me to. I'm like, dang, we're at that point again, which for me is a great sign where people are interested again. But it's important, right? We're in a space where, a lot of people think it's lucrative to kind of like gatekeep what's going on, but it's actually better off for everybody in and the people that need to come into this space to kind of like break down these terminologies and like not try to confuse people, not try to gatekeep, the information that's in this space. So yeah. So if
Well
you
said. Well
yeah, go
said.
ahead.
No, I think there's a lot to be said on that, and I think there's a net benefit to this space of the space is so vast that you'll never be an expert at everything. So instead of trying to gatekeep information, find your experts that are around there and share that information and get subject matter experts that can support your theories. So, whether we're in on-chain music and we hear something from gaming, then I can reach out to the person that I know spends most of their time in that gaming sector and gaming space and reach out to them. And I think that side of knowledge sharing as well is huge because in the decentralized world, there's so many tools out there that don't get visibility, and people don't know that there's solutions out there already built for some of their problems. And the best thing we can do in sharing knowledge is basically meld this network of decentralized communities together. And I think that's one of the things we intend to do here at the ZAO is we're not only a networking community, but we're also a knowledge sharing community. And honestly, that side of the ZAO and everything I've built was a huge part in part to the model that you guys have created with Ohnahji and Ohnahji University, where your guys' whole goal was to help onboard the next generation of minority individuals to this emerging tech space. And I think one of the coolest things um, in this space is that knowledge part. And I kind of am at an interesting crossroads where sometimes I feel that you need a certain depth of knowledge to just jump right into everything we're doing in the ZAO. If you're new, you kind of like will help you. We'd love to, but like in the general step of learning and like being in the crypto rabbit hole, you have to do the research on your own. And the end of the day, it's true for everyone, right? And I think that some people are super excited about that. They see it, they see a point, and they get really excited, and they get boom, they can do anything. You can give them like three or four keywords, and they can go off to the races. And then other people are a lot more of the asking you questions that they could Google,
Yep.
and it's like okay, like I can help you out here, but it's like at some point, if you're not going to try and help yourself out, there's nothing we can do. So, but I'm kind of getting in this crux of like sometimes it's like it's way easier to work with someone who already knows what's going on and to just be able to
Yep.
say all these words and have them know exactly what you mean. But both of you guys have the perspective of the 0.01% that understands crypto.
Yeah.
And because of such minority that is, it's actually a net negative because you don't have that other perspective of 99% of the world.
Yeah, facts. Huge facts.
There we go. I love it. So let's go through some of these. Maybe I see we got a couple amazing folks in the building. What's good, Slickeroni? How do you pronounce Hyrosol? I don't know if you know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, that's
Hyrosol.
that's just IRO for short.
Iro. Okay, I like it. Good to see you in here, Iro. But all of the terms on the left here are crypto Web3 jargon words, and all of the words on the right are words that they mean.
Mhm.
And I'm curious if we got anyone in the building who doesn't understand any of the words on the right. Because I think if someone said one or two of those words, we could kind of dive into a little bit of that if anyone had any questions. But I think this tweet right here, honestly, was so well explained and like, self-explanatory here to where like every time you say any one of the words on the left, you should be saying the word on the right. Like reality is, and I like that, especially if
Yeah.
you're onboarding. And it's just like it's like, I mean, it's definitions of these words kind of, right? In the end of the day, it's interesting because some of these words I understand the definition, but having it here written out with the other possible definitions is really helpful. Like I've always said for NFTs are a file type. It's not what the content is, but
Right.
it's the what the content is on. And this just lists it out really well. An NFT is, it could be an art, it could be a skin, it could be a collectible, it could be a ticket, it could be a pass, it could be a membership, right? And I think you use those words instead of NFT, and you find yourself having a lot more success in the conversations.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and for me, you probably know, like when I saw this list and I got excited about NFTs and collectibles and that whole subsection of crypto, just because you can see just from this list, like it does so much. Like you can make an NFT into anything, and that was a cool piece about, well, when we first were diving into NFTs and different things like that, just kind of explaining that we're not even scratching the surface on what this can be, on what this tech can be even used for. People aren't even like brainstorming everything revolving around like what it can be. It's just like you said, it's like a digital file type. Anything that we can make digitally, we can attach to that NFT, to that token, which was cool. So I saw this list and I was like, I got all excited again, like, okay, let's start building something crazy because we're at a point now where the tech, we can put more file types. We can put larger file types, larger. We can put larger different sizes. Like we can put video files and different things like that. Which before we really couldn't. It was too big for. I mean, you could if you had huge sums of money, right? Going back to the gas fees and transaction fees and all that good stuff. But now we have different, different chains, different tech, different tools to where like that list of what we can do, the art skin, collectible, ticket, pass, membership is growing even more. Like we can put content, we can put clips, like that would resonate with the Twitch community. We could put clips as NFTs, which is, I haven't really seen anybody like, really dabble and do that, but that's gonna come next for sure. So I mean, it's very cool. It's very cool. I think um another one of these that really stuck out to me was the Mint one, and I've seen this talked about a lot in dev circles in Web3, because Mint really meant two different things. It meant you can create something or that you can buy something from someone else. And a lot of like for someone coming into the space that was, new or just a beginner or whatever, that's like a very confusing thing when you have one word that means completely different things for different applications, right? And I've seen a lot of devs talk about that where we just need to get rid of Mint because we're using that for too many different things. It's just like putting something on chain, which could be your own thing or it could be someone else's thing, and that was like super confusing. So I thought that was pretty cool to see that at number three as well too, like the buy, create, or post, um, which is vast in itself as well too.
No, that's a great point. I was super confused when I started and didn't really understand it for the longest time until I just did it, right? And it's
Right,
like once you do it, you're like, oh, okay, I'm using Mint for this feature, and then I'm using Mint for this feature. And like you said, having the same word mean two different things based on context makes it a lot harder because then you always have to figure out what the context of that word is, right? So
right.
I think that's really well said. Buy, create, post. One of the other ones I like here a lot is chain and network dash backend. And I think that concept is really cool. I don't know where I saw this specifically, but it said that Farcaster is not a social network. It's a backend. It is a creation that you can plug in whatever you want on the front end and the UI side to take a look at. And I think that's really cool because it changes the thought process of this application that is only created for social concepts, and takes it at a much bigger level and takes it as like a foundation or a building block of anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool because that is what a network really is. It's like this mesh of nodes that keeps on growing and gets at a certain point to its network effect, which quite literally means it'll keep on growing because it just has so much. It cannot stop. It's kind of there's a term for it. Like a term is terminal velocity the right word? No, it's not. There's a term for it, but it's really cool to kind of like see see what networks are being created, right? You know, you have the OG network of Bitcoin, right? That you have your institutions buying into right now. And then you have your first smart contract network of Ethereum, right? And all the people that have now built layer twos on Ethereum, as well as other applications on Ethereum. And now kind of Solana is emerging. Solana, Farcaster, some of these other blue chip tokens are emerging as networks with a network effect, right? Like there's a lot of you can, technically you can have a network with three people, right?
Right.
But these scaled up successful networks that have created a network effect, to which I see as, there's so many more new users coming that there's never going to be a net outflow until it's reached its capacity.
Yeah.
And I think that is really cool of this, just like, if you're looking at it in terms of investment or just like fundamentals, if something is going to continuously grow, that's usually a pretty good sign, right? So this
Yeah.
like ability to be able to get get the leverage of the network growing without having to know exactly what's going to succeed on the network is why the kind of crypto space is really cool to me.
Yeah.
And
Oh, for
yeah, so
sure.
that chain, and like everyone always asks me like what is blockchain initially when I start. So like honestly, and I always say distributed immutable ledger, which and then I have to explain every
E-
single one of those words,
exactly.
which is fine. But like network and backend here is like okay, a non-technical person might not know those two words, but like they can at least guess because they've heard it in context.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what we have to
Awesome.
do. Just
Yeah, no, I think this like I want to come back to this in a year from now.
oh yeah.
And I'm 1000% sure we'll still be using all of the left words in crypto, but there will be successful people who have created Web3 apps that don't have the word mint, right? Like, and just have buy. I mean, there are already out there,
Yeah,
right?
actually, yeah,
It's,
for sure.
so it's like, I think the like successful individuals in this space will see that transition. And I'm kind of curious, at what point do we see in our industry this, text on the left, that's probably over 50% of every item that's out there is more leaning to the left. I'm curious, at what point do we get that transitions over to a majority to the right? Right. And I'm curious, like, will we have that point? Will we keep on going, like towards this jargon and like force people to understand if they want to get involved, or do we want to make that friction point easier, right? It's like
Yeah,
it's all dependent on how you want to do it. Some people like the idea of a lot of friction, so like people who care are involved, or people who have done the research. But by the same token, um, I think that is that gatekeeping mentality
yes,
of I've done this work, so you have to too.
right.
But instead of the mentality of like, and as that's the like the pull the ladder up mentality that like I saw in the Web2 music space that I honestly didn't feel here. Like it was just such a different vibe. So like really wanting to continue that, I think that we're gonna need to transition into a point where we being like the general space, I think a lot of people are doing this well. Just really transition into these not words that people understand really more than anything,
Yeah.
right? So getting rid of the jargon.
Heck yeah, for sure, for sure. No, and you mentioned that, and that really didn't click with me, but a lot of these newer mobile apps that are doing really well, that are blockchain related, are cutting down that left column terminology as much as possible. Like, even rodeo and Zora and different things like that, the mint button has turned into create or collect. You know what I'm saying? And those are just those different things where the average user coming into it, getting onboarded into that ecosystem, they're gonna know what those mean versus like what do you mean by mint? Like somebody with knowledge of like currency and like different things like that might know, oh, maybe I'm minting something, token or whatever, like a currency, something like that. But which is where all that came from. But the average person, they don't know what that means. They're gonna stop right there. It's like it's a huge friction point just from a UI UX standpoint. From like, I don't know what this button means, which is crazy. And like you said, and we've seen a lot of that in the space, man. I've seen a lot of that in Web3. Hey, easy in the building.
Let's go easy.
I've seen a lot of that where it's like, no, just like you said, we want to make it so that you have to learn it how I did it. You have to go through how I did it, And I see a lot of that in like the education space too. And with like teachers and things, it's like that's not how innovation works at all. Like you're supposed to go through that to make it easier for the people coming after you in the future and future generations. That's the whole reason like a lot of people are in tech, right? To make the world a better place. So yeah, it's very interesting. Easy's in the building. What's going on, fam? It's good to see you. How you
What
doing?
up? What up? Doing good. Sorry to be popping in late. It's a little wild this week because I just checked in at the the Marriott here for well, not checked in, staying, checked in to get my VIP speaker badge and stuff. Tomorrow I'll be speaking on the blockchain music panel here,
Hell
and
yes.
ran into Violetta in the like getting off the elevator, and Emily Lazar. So it's off to a good start. And we did a show last night in Brooklyn, and probably like I don't know, close to a dozen different solo performers and like three bands, hip hop, heavy metal, spoken word, like the whole gauntlet, and I got to MC that. So it was really fun. Yeah, it's just
Sick.
kind of a busy week. So glad to pop in with you boys. How you doing?
Hell yeah, it was
Good,
good to
good.
have you, Easy. I reshared what we were just talking about here. I saw a post, initially first on Farcaster, but it was a screenshot of a tweet by I think a girl in the verse. It was the name. I'm now forgetting. A girl on chain is what it was.
In a
And
verse
it
or
was this,
something.
yeah, and it was this concept of, all the words on the left are crypto jargon and all the words on the right is what it translates to. So why aren't we using the words on the right? And we just had a really good conversation about it. And I
Oh,
just want to hear your 2 cents. And then I actually have you jumped in at the perfect time because we're going to transition into talking a little bit more about let's talk about Web3 and how we can leverage our situation here in the podcast room to help support each of our own ventures in media, right? So,
nice.
but I just want to get you to take a look at this list here. And Ohnahji said specifically, like when he saw this list, he got really excited because he saw all of the definitions of NFT, and he just got excited
Brilliant.
at the.
That is such a brilliant post and topic because so at the show last night, there was a really dope musician songwriter who's Native American, and his like he wants to learn about Web3 and blockchain. And he was telling me, and I was like, he's staying at the house, the Airbnb that like a group of us are staying at. And I was like, well, you can totally pick my brain and I'll try and get you more comfortable with some of it. Because he was saying someone tried to onboard him once and it was like speaking a different language. He was like, they were using all the, I don't know, like technical terms or something. And I didn't understand any of it. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot of like technical jargon and just like slang that we use that acts as a barrier. It's like a gatekeeper on its own, just the language. So yeah, looking at this list, yeah, we could be using like standard English words instead of our, like wacky, ununderstandable to a non like native Web3 person. Um, I don't know why it's. I mean, I think honestly, it started like there's a lot of culture behind some of it, like burning. There's a reason why it's called burning. Like hodl. Like that was a misspelling from someone that didn't speak English that wanted to type hold. And now we say, I'll hodl that coin till the end. Like I got diamond hands. Like there is culture behind it. So it's like hip hop. There's words that were created in the hip hop culture that then permeate and become known to everyone. So some of this will become standard vocabulary. Other of it, you'll have to like kind of try and figure out what it means. But it doesn't mean that we can't also use in educational spaces the standard terms and then say, oh, like in the on the inside in Web3, we call this like gas, but it's just a
Well said.
transaction fee, you know.
Well
So
said.
there's no reason not to have use cases for both, and to be able to sort of adapt depending on who you're speaking with or speaking to. But yeah, that's a brilliant point. Like I have, it's been a part of conversation for a long time. Like this weird language that we use that you can't understand if you haven't like studied up and like watched a bunch of YouTube videos or like read a few books about like blockchain and NFTs. So it's a super valid point, and I think we could be more more open with the language, especially when it comes to education.
Huge
Well
facts.
said. Boom. I think you literally reiterated two or three of the points that we had, and it's like you summarized it really well there. So I love it. Thanks for popping
Word.
in, Easy. I'm excited to hear maybe next week a little bit more about your whole New York trip. And
For sure, for
I'm
sure.
stoked for you guys. I'm excited to hear a little bit more about your panel. And yeah, keep on killing it out there in New York.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
also
And
found this article this week, and I think this is a friggin' killer one for the three of us. So this is our GM Farcaster host Adrian's newsletter on the Farcaster playbook for media companies. I think all three of us are trying to get more active on Farcaster, and we're working on this media company, media presence of a company, of a network. And I think a lot of the things in here are things that we haven't really stepped up yet because we're all, immensely busy doing our own things, rocking it out. But I think now that we're on, episode 8 now, we can start to kind of think which of these items are the most efficient uses of our time here and chatting. So, yeah, we can just rock it out. So, I mean, I don't know where to start with Farcaster. I feel like we
excited,
talk
dude.
about Farcaster each week, but yeah, no, it's
Well,
it's it's
it's
just
it's
always
a
new
it's a
news.
good it's a good topic. There's always lots going on. It's a great platform because it's early enough on to establish a presence now. Like you're not too late. Like breaking through in Twitter or TikTok, like you have to have a one in a million viral moment basically to like get a following. I mean, you could build it over years. That's legitimate. But you need a breakout moment otherwise. So I'm excited to read this article because as someone that uses Farcaster daily, and I have like some great connections and good friendships, and like I get a little bit on the leaderboard, between $3 to maybe $10 rewards weekly, and I get tips and I get airdrops, but I do want to like always I'm just going to be myself, but I do want to learn how to elevate my reach there by exactly following like the instructions of people that do really know how to put it into like a post, like people like GM Barcaster or Peachy at the State of the Union. Like I've learned so much just from going to the State of the Unions. It's been incredibly valuable. So I'm excited to see this article. I haven't yet checked it out.
Hell yeah. So it looks like the playbook has four big parts of it: channels, group chats, mini apps, and AI bots. And I personally have, out of these four options, channels is something that I have nowhere near tapped into enough with because I have like I had never. I don't even associate myself like anything I do. I'll post on the ZAO channel if I see it, if I remember. But then sometimes I post something to like no channel. Sometimes I never look through channels, even though I know it could be beneficial. There's a lot of benefit there. So I'm curious a little bit about what they're gonna say. But for me, the group chats, the mini apps, and the AI bots is where I, not as a creator, but as a consumer, have seen a lot, and I really, I got Farcaster about a 2 years ago, year and a half ago. Tried it out for a little bit and then didn't have engagement, so I left. Um, and when I rejoined, what had happened that actually really got me back into it was I was added to a group chat. And this group chat was about Farcaster. It's ironic. Farcaster developers working on Eliza OS AI bots back in January of this year. And I knew that the Eliza OS had a lot of potential, especially integrated with a network that was already on blockchain, as opposed that to a network like Twitter that doesn't want AI slop and spam. They see everything as it bad, period. Versus if we can now leverage blockchain to add verifications into this AI, it changes the game. So that group chat that I joined, I started to get notifications from Farcaster for the first time, and that's what would get me back into the app. That was what would get me back into the thing. So I actually made a ZAO group chat as well. I try and add the first person that joins anytime that I know someone that's in the ZAO that joins Farcaster, I try and add them to that group chat. So at least when they join, they're getting some kind of notifications into their feed, so they're able to go back and have a reason to go back into the app.
Nice.
And another thing I didn't see here, but I feel like maybe it's a thing to bring up with Adrian, or even like it says here, remix or reach out, is to talk about the starter pack. I think the starter packs is something so unique to this social media that, and we're kind of underutilizing it. I truly feel
Yeah.
like all three of us, anytime we onboard someone to Farcaster, should be adding that person to our starter pack of the individuals that we've created. Because my idea is that when I share this new social media app for the first time, with someone, the beautiful thing about Farcaster is if you try another client, you don't have to completely remake your feed. But when you come in for the first time, you do have to start from scratch, just like every social media platform. But what the starter packs do is I can go in, if I'm watching this podcast, let's say, I can go in immediately, go follow all of Ohnahji's starter pack individuals, all of my starter pack individuals, all of EZ's starter pack individuals, and immediately I have an algo. I have like a proper timeline with like people I might not even know, right? And I'm like learning a little bit about them, but it's like it gives you that, like I know at least the people in my community that I usually add have, a specific vision for the future and like a way of moving in the space, that and they're a net positive. That's usually the individuals I like to bring in. And so I see that as any future connections that's made, it is going to be awesome, and it's something that's nowhere even close to created on any platform, to the point where like if I follow too many people at the same time on X, it gives me a timeout.
Yeah, yeah, dude, ridiculous, ridiculous. I've had to do so many of those little like movie theater seat number things because I retweeted like and followed too many people that day or something, which is crazy. There's got to be some other way to check for bots if that's like kind of what they're doing. I think starter packs are huge, and I need to make one for people that I onboard. Like even when I saw your starter pack, I was like, oh, dope. And then I'm like, oh shit, I'm not following these three people that I totally know and like and want to be following. I didn't even know I wasn't. I like assumed that I'm following all my homies, and I'm like, oh damn, there's like 3 or 4 people here that I figured I'm just following, but I wasn't. So starter packs are definitely huge. Group chats I wanna use more of, and I think AI is still kind of coming to fruition as far as the different use cases. So check this out. I was in Livecaster, which is sort of like a group chat. It's a group chat for events. So I was in Livecaster, NBA Finals, whatever, last 3 or 4 days ago. Game 8, maybe. Kansas City Pacers, right? So I mentioned in the chat, I'm like, because I've been to a few of these Livecaster things. I'm not even super into sports. Like I just go because it's fun and there's cool people there. And I mentioned, I was like, yo, I've never bet on a sports game in my life, or even like gambled. And I didn't even grow up that far from like Vegas. Or, so the Say Angel, who's one of the devs of of the live caster, and I think this probably also works with the bracky betting thing. He's like, yo, I just sent you like 25,000 bracky to go try it out, make a bet.
There you
So I'm
go.
like, okay, I don't know what to do. And then it's like, oh, we have this great AI bot that like analyzes everything, makes recommendations for you. And I just followed the bot's instructions. I was like, okay, throw down all my bag on Kansas City. Like they're ahead by 20. It's just the beginning of the second quarter. Then by like maybe it was like 5 minutes left in the game, and Pacers had closed it by 10. And I'm like a little nervous. This is my first bet ever. It's all exciting. And so I'm like, I'm there in Farcaster casting back and forth with the bot. I'm like, well, now it's only a 10-point lead. Should I like what would I win if I cash out now? And like, what should I sell part of it? And it's like there's a 98% chance they won't catch up. And you don't need to win by a certain amount. Your bet is just a flat win lose. And you'll get 32,000 tokens from your 25K if you stay in. And I'm like, thank you for your non-emotional, like predictive response there. I'm staying in. And I won, and I got like 32,000 of the little tokens. It's like a couple bucks or something. But it was like the experience and having that gifted to me. That is the power of like the community on Farcaster using mini apps, AI, a group chat all in one. So like
Yep.
it is super dope.
100%. My first bracky bet was both of my bracky bets were gifted bets that were given to me. When I was just mentioning it on the timeline, right? I was saying I haven't tried it, would love to, and someone was like, "Boom, go try it," right? And I think that level is also something that like is seen on Farcaster. That's like just like that's the second level of like, okay, it's built on blockchain rails. Like that's cool because you can use crypto, right, and use blockchain, but then never mind like on a social layer being able to pay someone not only in like the main token but like anything, right?
Mm.
And I think this kind of steps into one more thing, and then maybe we'll come back to this article of Noyce. I don't know. Maybe B, if you want to say something, and then give us a little explanation of Noyce and what you've seen. But like Noyce is another application of crypto social that is not possible outside of crypto social.
Yeah. Yeah, 1,000%. It's kind of cool to see Noise and like their evolution. It's kind of like to me the evolution of like when DGen first started and just the whole tipping culture, um, and just rewarding people and being able to like kick somebody some money for either their post or their engagement or whatever. And Noise is actually like on the back end making an app that you can actually structure how much you want to give people based on how you respond to them. So you can like if you recast it or if you like it, or you can hit it with like a okay banger or something like that to give it like a super bag. And it's cool because you can actually set your limits. You can set how much you want to tip or kick back to um, whatever kind of engagement piece that you're doing on these posts. And it's super innovative. I think it's like it's the next evolution of degen and that tipping culture and things like, and it's only going to grow. It's cool to see other coins and other teams just kind of innovate and just kind of like brainstorm on the future of where this thing needs to go. So like there's been many times on these calls when I'm like, I don't have no idea what's gonna happen with crypto, what's gonna happen in decentralized social, and like that's like a clear indicator of like that's a genius idea, right? And then someone else is gonna come in, a couple months, a year, 2 years, 5 years. That's another genius idea. So it's very cool just to play with it. I haven't dove in too much. There was like an initial airdrop, so I got to play around and stuff in with it. But
So I'll tell you why more than anything, Noyce is next level.
yeah.
Not only are you able to, for the first time on social media, gift per like, right? Like I give 1 cent per like that I give out with Noise. Or like is a very basic action. If you're gonna right, like you said, quote tweet and then say okay banger, right? Maybe it's 10 times that or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But for me, the next level is the ERC 721 tokens of you being able to use any token to be able to ERC 721 or 20, I think. Kind of like any token that you want, you can tip with. So I tip with student loans now. I tip with our community meme coin. And
Nice.
that's just another leverage point of not only distributing that out, but then also getting other people aware of this token, right? Like a lot of people have like a coin that they've built everything around. So it's like if every time I interact with anything on Farcaster, some loans is getting involved in there. It's in their wallet, right? So it's like when they scroll through their activity, or not even scroll through their activity, but just like see it in their wallet. They're like, huh, what is this? Right? Like, or why do I have it? Right? I think that is the next level because, I mean, realistically, whatever token it is doesn't matter. You can immediately swap it out into cash, right? Into like whatever your version of cash is.
Right.
And but being able to leverage this, like everyone has all of these, you know, tokens that are kind of sitting in their wallet that are kind of doing nothing, right? But it's like being able to give 1-2 cents every so often is a lot better use case of it than it's sitting in your wallet. And I also think being able to like it's now another point in the purchase of the point of sale that you can additionally distribute or promote or market around, right?
Dude,
And that to me is the next level.
it's super powerful to be able to market something without it going in front of someone's eyes. So traditional marketing, you have to capture their eyes on a screen or a page. This is like it's like freaking ninja marketing, bro. You're dropping coins into somebody's wallet without them really even knowing, but yet they see it and then they're like, where'd I get this? Oh, so and so liked my content and paid me in this loans token. And now I've followed their social accounts. Even if I cashed it out or not, like, it's like the ultimate guerrilla marketing. And it's really interesting. Noyce has you can tip for a follow, a like, a recast, a cast, and super tip. And I think one more that I'm forgetting. But just to set the record straight, they were second. Tippin was first.
There
And
you go.
shout out to Compreni and Nifty Time because they're my homies from like 2018 and this, and they've been building shit forever. And it's
Yeah.
much more simple. It's just a like. You can set the amount you want for a like. So it's very like your grandma could set it up. Me, I go into Noyce and I'm like, where is just like they don't I like can't figure out sometimes where I approve more because it's not like approve. It's like in like some weird setting. And then my only gripe with them is they keep changing it back and forth to where before I could put just $1 or $2 to approve. Now it's up to $6. I'm not throwing in $6. Sorry. Like I need flexibility. They're super flexible in how you tip out. But if you're going to say you have to put in $5 or $6 or you can't give 1 penny tips, I just don't get it. I've made a few posts about it and tagged them. They actually went back to having it just open to where you could put like $1 or two. And now I guess the latest update, maybe they didn't try, but it reverted to like $5 or $6 is the lowest limit. So I really love what they're doing. I like seeing the competition. It's just my homies are with Tippin and they're giving a lot back. They're doing they've been doing $1,000 a day giving out to people that use Tippin. Sometimes it's split between like 4 or 5 different people. Sometimes it's one person or on like 6, 9, a few weeks back, they did $690. They did a basically like a fair launch token, which was really dope through what is it? I'm gonna have to look in Farcaster at my mini apps to know. App Store. I think it's called App Store. Through App Store and Farcaster, you can do a token launch, but you can set like 5 days, and then the price is determined on how many people buy in up to that limit that you've set. Like let's say $100,000, it hits $100,000 or 100 ETH or whatever. Boom, it's then bonded and goes live. Those people that bought in early can always resell at the price they bought it in minus 5% buy-in and 5% sell. But that's a very low loss. Like if the token tanks, you can still basically regain most of your capital. Or if it goes up, you're in the green. So really interesting stuff coming from both Tippin and Noyce, and there will be more. Like it's not just
Yeah.
going to be them. Like someone else is going to come along with a little different take on it, and that'll be interesting and cool to see. And eventually, there could be five or six, and then four will get shook out, and it'll be two that remain and move on to maybe other platforms. But if I got uh this, just be real, a shitcoin tipped to me on Twitter, I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't even
Right.
want to interact with a contract. But because it's people on Farcaster and it's a tight community, I'm like, oh, so and so tipped me their new like Clanker coin or meme coin or whatever. Like I get loans, I'm like stoked. So it's really, there's something different about being in a community in kind of its earlier days where you know a lot of the people that are building that you can trust. So it's like there's so many different aspects to it that just are, for me, better than just spending my time on Twitter. In fact, just upstairs when I checked in, there was what's her name? I recognize her name. Me and Out of Body were talking to her. She was basically hyping up for Arena and saying how she's supporting artists there. They're launching tokens now on Arena. They basically got like a clanker over there, kind of, so you can launch tokens. And she's making like 5 to 8 grand a month, but she's been there from the beginning. So like,
Right.
there's other platforms that people are earning on too. I'm interested. I made an account on Arena 18 months ago and it was kind of dead, so I didn't go back. But it sounds like now they're doing more stuff. So it's like there's things out there. You just have to be willing to go beyond like the comfort zone of like Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever like the kind of like Web 2 main sites are, to be able to experience something a little different.
Well said.
Oh, hey, look who's here.
Yeah, what's good, Tricky?
Hey.
Oh, it's Big
Well, we can't hear
Doggy.
because of the headphones. Well, that's
Oh
good.
yeah.
Good.
Oh, they didn't. Well, they didn't catch it because I'm in my pods. Do your thing again.
Damn.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. So here at NFT NYC, you never know who might just come up and sit next to you on a bench. Just run into the homies. So it's super dope.
There you go. I love it. We'll kick it off here in 5 minutes and call it. I'm glad you could make it in. Last thing to talk about here. AI assistant in the GM Farcaster thing. I've been watching them rock this out. They actually just renamed it to Warpy today, or yesterday from GM Farcaster 101. But everything's open source. Adrian shared everything. Like she's even shared like how she's created it. So not only for Let's Talk About Web3 do I want to create an AI bot that can take all of our transcripts and summaries, but also just for the ZAO. Like, and this is kind of why I started diving into Eliza and getting excited about it. But as founders, we have so much development time, so it's kind of something that's been on the back burner. But I think AI agents, and like you said earlier, Bracky specifically, show what we can do with social that wasn't able to be possible before because these AI agents can have wallets. And just solely that fact is huge. And I'm really excited for this future where kind of like the front end we interact with is AI, and we're just having natural conversation. And you, me, Ohnahji, B, someone who's completely outside of Web3, can all have our personalized conversation with the same entity. And I think that level of unification across a brand is so huge.
1000%.
Cool.
It's it's crazy times that we're in, like but for anybody out there, just experiment with the tools, because there's gonna be something new next month, something new next 6 months, next year, next 5 years. It's all gonna be different. So just hop in there, experiment, and play around with stuff.
Yeah,
Awesome.
if you don't like take that step out of your comfort zone to play with AI or whatever it is, you will always be like a step or two steps behind and you're never going to do it. So just like get out there and experiment, jump in and vibe code, whatever it is. Like some of my best like some of my most like heartening posts that like kept me going were from like Dr. Gonzo or like, you know, Holmes, like these bots that were on forecaster for the flows.wtf, and they'd be like, you're crushing it with your shows, like keep bringing the like digital streets to the, you know, just like they're dope, they know the lingo, they like keep you, you know, they're promoting you, and it's like, like, you know, nobody was seeing my post because I posted at a bad time or whatever, but the bots have your back. So it's been really cool, and I look forward to more interactions with AIs, especially like you said, when they have wallets. Like we could set up an AI that on any music post like tips a little loans and then like says, oh hey, come talk to me about you know, the ZAO and what we're doing for music. So like there's just endless possibilities.
And I was gonna say on that topic, perfect, because Ohnahji B commented on this today. AI agents. The reason I haven't like really dove into it too is because I've seen how much an individual in our community has dove into AI agents and how proficient she's gotten at that. And I recently had a call with her and catching up, and kind of was able to like, I've been a little bit out of that meta as of right now, in like paying attention to what's happening in the day to day, and being able to chat with her about it and be like, okay, so what are you doing in your successful workflow that gets you to get this end product? And being able to talk to people like that, where like I might not have to have had that like 3 or 4 months of research she's done into that to get a benefit out of that. And so this individual, her name is Girl Crash. She performed for us out in Zouchella, has made an unbelievably amazing game as well that I tried today for the first time. And in her newsletter, she always shares more about her AI agents and what she's doing. And I really see lots of potential for musicians, right? We always talk musicians and kind of all entrepreneurs. Everyone wants to spend more time building, doing their art, doing their music. Realistically, most people other than media companies don't care about building their brand. They know they need to do it. So if an AI can be not only out there while you're playing, while you're, you know, learning your music, playing your music at home, but then to me, like the next level is of when you're asleep, right? Like, and like I can, as a human being in my physical body, have my limitation of I need to rest, but an AI doesn't. So if I can now leverage that, how much more efficient can I be in my day to day? And especially like I see a very cool future, and maybe this is closer than I think. I mean, it could be possible if I put a little bit of effort into it, but like I see a future where I wake up and the first notification I see of the day is not whatever random thing has just been sent. It's an organized list of all of the things I need to catch up on in the time that I've missed. From not just like this one size fits all solution, but something I've built and I've gotten to understand me and my priorities and what news articles that happen at night are important for me to see.
Yeah.
Even taking it a little further than that, and I thought you were gonna actually say this. You're all, I wake up and the notification I get is what my AI interacted with, who they replied to as me in my own like style of writing because it knows me that well because I trained. Like that's what I want. I
I
want my
see. Yeah.
AI
Oh, I
to be
plan that
like,
with every account.
yo,
Like I definitely don't want any of my personal socials posting AI like straight, like without any filter
it's
whatsoever,
it's
or
not there yet.
any audit, without completely automated, because I don't see a reason for me to not just create another account to do that, if that makes
Right,
sense.
right. No,
But I
and
totally see
even
that
so,
point is
it
great.
could be like it could respond like, "Hey, Easy's crashed out. Easy's on a flight. Easy's doing whatever." He'll, you know, like I'll get the notification that this is what it said, and I can go follow up. But like if it was like, you know, oh, this is dope, and then says like by like Easy AI, and like, you know, the person's gonna know like, oh, Easy AI hit this up. He's gonna get a notification when he's online that like we interacted. I interacted with this little like agent. Like that would be so dope, bro. I think
Agreed.
it'll
I love
happen.
it.
It's just not there
Oh,
yet.
let's make it happen. Let's make it
Yeah,
happen.
let's make it happen.
There you go.
I like the first step of the news bot. That one, like, I mean, people have already probably created it, but it's like,
It's
again,
doable.
personalizing it to your personality, right? Okay, well, I think that was phenomenal. I feel like even just those two articles were enough. Like, we definitely don't need to go scrounging all over the internet. We could talk for hours on nothing. But I like having the physical. I think we need to figure out exactly the best way to stream and share. Still, maybe that's something we can work on. Let me write that down. But I feel like this was an awesome episode. I didn't expect easy, so that's an extra surprise, and
Yeah.
especially not tricky. So super blessed to be here with you guys, and I just want to say thank you. And I'm excited to rock the next however many episodes out with you guys. And I think there's a lot of potential here for the future. And maybe the next thing we do here is create a group chat on Farcaster for Let's Talk About Web3. If not, just for us to share Farcast supposed we see
Yeah.
for our podcast.
For sure.
Totally.
Cool. Well, I guess that'll be my action item. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I don't know if you guys want to say any last words.
Just have a good time.
Ohnahji?
Have a good time out there, easy. Get your network on,
Word.
all that good stuff. We're feeling the FOMO
That's
a
why
little
I'm.
bit. So, yeah. But it's good to see
Well,
you. Thank you for tapping in. But yeah, go ahead.
I can't wait till we can all three be IRL hanging together too. Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy next couple of days. I was just stoked that I was able to like get on with you guys today because otherwise I would have been kind of bummed. Like honestly, I would like there's a lot going on, but I was like, okay, like of course we get out of the place late and then there's traffic through the tunnel and then like we get here and it's like oh man, the show's gonna be starting in a few minutes. I'm like, run up, check in, come down, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's time. I'm only 15 minutes late. Like, jump in. So I'm super stoked to be blessed to be on with you guys again. And next week I'll have like a little recap of what went down at NFT NYC. And yeah, I'm gonna go like schmooze and meet some people and reconnect with people. And tomorrow speak about music on the blockchain to whoever shows up to listen. So yeah, much love.
Easy. I love it. That's an amazing way to close us off here. Episode 8 in the books, and we'll see you guys later. Have a good one.
All right, y'all.
Peace.